this video. It is the Hobbywing XR14 ESC. Just how good this is. Can this be, to see just how good this is, can this be an alternative to some of the more popular ESCs to save you a little bit of money? If you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is RoadsideRC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, posting product review videos and how-tos. And you might want to consider this XR14. When you first look at it, it's 70 amp instead of some of the other ESCs putting out a lot more amperage than that. So people kind of dismiss it. But when you think about it, especially for RC drift, we're pushing some really lightweight vehicles around. And so do we really need all that extra amperage? And can you get away with an ESC like this one that costs so much less? If you look at kind of one of the most popular Hobbywing ESCs that's out there is the XD10 Drift ESC. Fancy aluminum case and all that, but also a heftier price tag at $159. This one coming in at a smaller footprint, lighter weight, and almost half the cost. Almost half the cost, like a lot. That's a lot of money back in your pocket that you can spend instead on either a better gyro or a better servo or a better controller, and that probably would have a bigger impact to your overall driving experience. So we're gonna have to test this and see, does it stand up to some of the claims? Let's get started by getting it out of the box. All right, there it is. Oh, we have Hobbywing stickers if you want them. We have instructions, which is always helpful. The ESC itself, note, does have a capacitor, somewhat small capacitor, but does have one. And it does have all the wires already pre-soldered onto the motor. Not all come like that, so that is nice. Note, we do have the censored port right there. We have our plug to go to the receiver, and we have our power and set button right here. Fan is already built on, and you can see it is a small package, so being able to fit it onto, as an example here, my little rear ESC tray, it's not going to be a problem with it. When it comes to installing it, especially with pre-installed wires, when you're going to mount it to the chassis, you have to be kind of mindful of where everything's going to be. I don't have the receiver mounted in the car yet, but it's either going to come up on this plate or down here on the chassis. So I have to be able to get this wire from this ESC plate back here all the way to it. I also need to be able to get the wires to the motor, which should be pretty simple because the motor is just right here. But I also need to be able to get battery wires all the way over to the battery. So as an example, if I set this direction, won't be able to get all the way to the chassis, but it'll be able to get here. But my battery wires, if I want my battery to come in from the other side there to avoid the gears, a lot of times I like to put my battery in from this side, but it means I'm going to be facing sparks potentially with the gears being here. I can't get my power wire. I don't know if I can get my power wire all the way over where I'd want it to go. So these are the things that we need to consider. If I turn it around, then I should be able to get this tucked in. I'm running this Furatech Nano Drive motor, which means I can have plenty of room for the wire to go in underneath the motor and still be able to reach up here, and yet plenty of room for all of these wires to get back here. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with the ESC mounted sideways back here, and then have to also figure out where it is that I'm going to put my power switch. This car does have this bumper back here that also can be used for body mounts, and I may consider just putting it, double-sided taping it down back there. It'd be a super convenient place for it to be. I missed it earlier, but the kit does actually come with some double-sided tape. It was just folded up in the instructions, so thank you, Hobbywing, for providing that. With the ESC mounted there, it's time to solder the bullets onto the 3 wires. Because I'm using this Furatech Nano Drive, it has the kind of the quick release there, and it actually comes with the bullets that are needed to hook it up. They're a unique smaller size. For power cables that are going over, I'm going to be using these Furatech stepped bullets. The bullets in general save a bunch of weight compared to plugs on your drift car, but then these Furatech bullets are 4 and 5 millimeter stepped bullets, so that means you can use basically any of the shorty batteries that you can buy online because it's dual use that way. And these caps make it really easy to pull them in and out of the different batteries that you get. Been really happy with these. If you need any of this stuff, I will have a link to some of it down in the video video description for you. I'm also going to be using my Echo Power soldering iron. This thing works like a champ. I've been using it for a while now. Has yet to fail me. One tip I want to leave you here is wire length. You'll see on my motor side I left it extra long right now, and that's because with this chassis being a new chassis to me, I expect to play with motor position a little bit, so I can't cut them too short yet. So I actually left them at the full length that it comes from the kit so that I have as much maneuverability as possible. Flip side of that though is this is where the ESC is going to be on this chassis. So the positive wire goes all the way up here to this side of the battery. As I go and I'm getting ready to solder on the negative terminal, what I'm going to do is actually cut this wire shorter right about here, and then that way it just won't be able to reach over to the positive side, and I won't be able to plug my batteries in backwards, because guess what? I've done that before, and it sucks whenever you do that. So that's just a tip for you as you're soldering up in this stage of putting this ESC on. We have the wires plugged into the battery. We have the controller on. We're going to do our first startup. Of course, what we need to do is we're going to have to flip it off, and we're going to have to do our initial ESC calibration. Using a small tool, I'm going to hold down the set button before I turn it on. When it gets to that mode, it's going to initially be looking for neutral, so we're going to leave it neutral on the controller and hit the button once. We're going to go to full throttle. We're going to hit the button again. We're going to go to full reverse, and we're going to hit the button again. Okay, when we come back, it goes to solid red, and we should be ready to go now. So I still have forward. It looks like I have brake because I can see the ESC color change, but it's currently set up to not have reverse. So we do not have reverse. All right, we clearly now need to jump into the programming of this ESC. In order to really get into the programming of this ESC, I have plugged in my Hobbywing OTA programmer, and I have the app running here. I have linked it, and we're going to go into the parameters for it. As we go through this, I'm going to compare it to the default settings. It's also shown here in the manual. So the first thing up is running mode is forward brake, and we want reverse and brake, because it turns out I do like to have that. Max reverse force 25%, completely fine. Cutoff voltage automatic is completely fine. Thermal protections, BEC voltage, motor rotation, all of that so far is great. The pulse width drive frequency from the factory is set at 8,000. It can go all the way up to 32,000, which is a really high number and is honestly right up there with some of the drift specific ESCs and what it's capable of. What I have found in my previous testing with other ESCs is that once I hit past 24,000, I couldn't really tell much of a difference. So I'm going to change it from 8 to 24,000. All the brake pieces I'm going to leave alone because it does have drag brake at 0, and that's where I like it. I don't like to have a drag brake on my drift cars. Some people do, and you can obviously change that in here pretty easily. We're then looking at boost timing. From the factory, it is on 0. I'm going to jump to somewhere around, we'll call it like a 15 degrees of boost. And it is auto activated. I am completely fine with that. It does have turbo actually in it. It has 8 degrees, and we're going to jump that up. We're going to put about 20 into the turbo just for giggles. And then on the hit, I want it to be instant. I don't want it to have a ramp up. Turbo increase rate, I also want it to be instant. And then decrease rate, I don't really care about. Doesn't normally seem to bother me. The turbo delay, that is from when you hit the full throttle, how long does it wait before it gives you the turbo? That's why I like it to be at instant. And then the increase rate is how much of that 20 degrees does it build in and how fast does it do it? And again, I want it to hit really hard. And so both of those instant is great, and that's all that we need. I'm going to save it. I'm going to say yes, save it. Saved successfully. So that should now give us those functions. And here we go, firing it back up. So again, I have forward as normal. You can hear it hitting the turbo. It's not a very loud whooshy turbo sound by any stretch of imagination, but it works. All right, and then brake and then reverse. We have that as well too now. So I can get myself out of trouble. And there we go. That's looking great so far. I think it's about time for maybe, what do you think? Initial test drive. For this ESC, I mean, super smooth, as we would expect from Hobbywing. Easy to control. Nice throttle modulation. I'm having to get a little bit into the throttle, right? I'm not just tiptoeing on it, which feels good. It has good kick. It feels like it could use just a little bit more punch when I want to kick it like that. Like it's not quite as aggressive as I would hope when I hit that throttle like that. But it's got plenty of power, it feels like. It's just not quite as instant. So it tells me maybe I take a little bit of that boost timing out and I add it over onto the turbo side. Or my previous testing with this nano drive motor showed that it could take plenty of timing. So maybe I just throw some more turbo at it, period. But yeah, it feels quite good. ESC is easy to control, easy to modulate. If I want to place the car anywhere right in here, easy to do. I may up the pulse width just a little bit. That'll smooth out my mid-range. The other thing I haven't done is a lot of the times what I like to do is put a little exponential in the throttle. I might try some of that as well. This XR14 ESC is really quite intriguing. And I think it kind of comes down to, are you already in the Hobbywing ecosystem and not? So I already have, as an example, the programmer. But here's one of the things that kind of kills me, is you're buying this ESC instead of the XR10 stock spec, which is just that little bit more, or instead of going to the XD10 ESC, which is a hefty amount more. All three of those ESCs require this programmer, but you're buying the XR14 because you want to save a few dollars. But then, after you've saved a few dollars, if you're not already in the Hobbywing ecosystem and you don't already have this programmer, this is another $50. So you're trying to save money. But yet you have to get the Bluetooth programmer as well in order to program it, which is the same for the XR10, which is the same for the XD10. So it does save you money if you want to get into Hobbywing. I think what is intriguing to me is, okay, so it's a $90 ESC plus this $50. It's $140, and you have this ESC plus the programmer. Great. But there is stuff like the Furatech Pixie, which is more of a drift-specific ESC, has even more little tuning features, and is more expensive. It's $179, right? So it's that additional $30 over what this combo would cost you, but it has the Bluetooth programmer already available with it as it ships. And so you have all that, you still have the app, you still have the connectivity, but then you can also get the fancy aluminum shiny case and all of that kind of fanciness for like that extra $30-ish. I think it just really depends on what you're wanting and, you know, kind of what your goals are. I am very happy with this ESC. Very happy to have a just plain basic black ESC. It is kind of nice when you pull your body shell off and the ESC looks really cool in there, right? Is there necessarily a big performance gap with this XR14? I really don't think so. I think I'm going to continue to be able to tweak and refine and kind of continue to mold this ESC and get it dialed in just to where it's as good as basically any of the others that are out there. Just know that, yeah, you're saving money going this route, but you're not saving, because you have to buy the Bluetooth programmer, you're not saving a bunch of money. You're still in it for like $140-ish all in. So if you have been looking for potentially a budget-friendly drift ESC, and I hope this video was very useful for you. If you're looking at this one, or you think maybe that XR10 stock spec could see that little bit extra punch, that little bit extra power for just a few extra dollars, still works with the same OTA Hobbywing Bluetooth programmer, or if you think you just want to go to the XD10, or maybe if you're really curious about that Furotech Pixie. I'll have a link to all of those down in the video description so that you can see more about each one of them. I have videos also on every single one of these products already out there. Those will all be in my Drift Tech playlist that'll be popping up over to your right. So I hope to see you in one of those videos. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. I hope to see you in one of these upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.